My name is Gary, and I come from a well-off family. Growing up as an only child, I spent a lot of time on my own. Although I wasn't particularly outgoing, I was academically inclined. Throughout high school, my routine remained relatively unchanged. While I had crushes on a few girls, I never pursued dating. My dad often warned me that girls might be interested in me solely because of our family's wealth. I wasn't into sports, opting instead for gym sessions. Standing at 5'10", I started out slim but soon bulked up from regular workouts. I also took self-defense classes to handle the bullying I faced. Once I learned how to defend myself, the confrontations didn't last long. When I entered college, I ended up rooming with a fellow introvert. We got along well due to our shared quiet and reserved nature. It wasn't until my sophomore year that I attended my first party. A few drinks loosened me up a bit. That night, a heavily intoxicated girl invited me to her room. As things escalated, I found myself having sex for the first time. It was a spontaneous encounter, and while it felt good, it wasn't significantly different from masturbation. I attended a couple more parties, but the encounters felt similar each time. I wasn't confident in my abilities as a lover. During my junior year, I went on a few dates, but the conversations often circled back to my family's wealth. It seemed like they were more interested in what I could spend on them. Frustrated, I focused more on my studies, pursuing a degree in accounting with the intention of joining my father's firm after graduation. Towards the end of my senior year, I met Sheila. She was kind-hearted and stunning, and I couldn't help but be drawn to her. Though I remembered her from school events where she was often surrounded by suitors, I found myself developing feelings for her. Sheila and I shared a few classes together, and we'd chat almost every day. I gradually found myself falling for her, so one day, I mustered up the courage to ask her out to lunch. She smiled warmly and agreed. Over lunch at a nearby restaurant, we talked for hours, and I found her company incredibly enjoyable. I discovered that she lived with her parents and commuted to school daily. In contrast, I resided in the dorms, hailing from a small town on the opposite side of the state. As we wrapped up our meal, I suggested going out that weekend, but she already had plans. However, we made plans for the following weekend instead. Sheila was known for dating frequently, yet I couldn't shake my feelings for her, bordering on love. Despite her popularity, she didn't seem to commit to anyone regularly. She once mentioned to me that she preferred playing the field until she found the right person to settle down with. For our date, she suggested dinner followed by an IMAX movie, which sounded perfect to me. We began seeing each other regularly, and while there was nothing particularly remarkable about me, she often agreed to go out with me. Despite my affluent background, Sheila never brought it up. She shared an apartment with her sister, Darla. When I asked her why she chose to date me, she explained that she appreciated my shyness and how I treated her with respect. After our fifth date, Sheila invited me to her apartment while her sister was out. Although they shared the space, each had their own bedroom. In her room, she kissed me softly, her hands tenderly caressing my face. It was a transformative moment, and as we kissed passionately on her bed, I knew I had found something special. Then, she slowly undressed, revealing her beauty. As she removed my clothes, I felt a surge of excitement. When we finally got into bed, I anticipated making love to her, but she had other plans. She guided my face to her intimate area, and despite my lack of experience, I eagerly embraced the opportunity to pleasure her. The scent of her arousal intoxicated me, and I found myself completely lost in the moment, bringing her to climax with my newfound enthusiasm. I returned to bed, kissing Sheila with the taste of her lingering on my lips. As I caressed her breasts, she instructed me to be gentle, and I complied eagerly. My arousal was intense, unlike anything I had experienced before. Sheila assured me she was on birth control, something I had never encountered. Positioning myself between her legs, I glided my cock across her moist opening, relishing the sensation. With each thrust, she responded with pleasure, encouraging me to delve deeper. Gripping her legs, I intensified my movements, eliciting passionate cries from her. When I climaxed, it was unlike anything I had ever felt, an overwhelming release of ecstasy. Afterward, we lay together, basking in the aftermath of our lovemaking. I carefully shifted to avoid crushing her beneath my weight. Once her tremor subsided, she rose to clean up, while I took care of myself. As Sheila showered, I dressed, contemplating the depth of my feelings for her. When she emerged, we shared a tender kiss, and I confessed my growing love for her. She reciprocated, and we began dating regularly, exploring new realms of intimacy together. Sheila became my guide in matters of passion, and with each encounter, our bond deepened. When I proposed after graduation, she accepted, and we embarked on planning our future together. Our wedding day was a joyous occasion, and as I watched Sheila walk down the aisle, I was overcome with emotion. Our honeymoon in the Bahamas was a whirlwind of passion, reaffirming our connection. Despite the demands of my job during tax season, we continued to prioritize our relationship. However, as time passed, I noticed a change in our intimacy. Amidst my busy schedule, our physical closeness dwindled, leaving me feeling unsettled. One day, I decided to surprise Sheila by taking her out for lunch. I knew her schedule and headed to the house she was showing. Seeing another vehicle parked outside, I assumed it was a potential buyer. Sneaking inside, I heard noises upstairs and quietly made my way up. To my shock, I found Sheila naked, engaging in intimate activities with a young man. I stood in disbelief, observing silently for a while. Despite the betrayal, I didn't feel any arousal. Eventually, feeling bored and hurt, I left quietly. I've always been a calm person, slow to anger. Sheila was my love, but her actions couldn't go unpunished. As they continued upstairs, I took precautions to erase any traces of my presence. After retrieving a knife and gloves from the kitchen, I waited downstairs in the closet. When Sheila left, I confronted the man upstairs. Later, I called Sheila, maintaining my composure. Despite the betrayal, we had lunch as if nothing had happened. Her casual demeanor belied the betrayal she had committed. That night, I tried to please her in bed, but the images haunted me. The next day, I casually mentioned a news article about a stabbing nearby. Sheila's reaction revealed nothing, but her interest in the article didn't escape my notice. Leaving for work, I reflected on the events, masking my true feelings behind a smile. For a while, everything seemed calm in our household. With tax season behind us, I had more time on my hands. I tried my best to keep Sheila satisfied in bed, but I couldn't match the excitement she had shown with Ray. Despite my efforts, something seemed amiss until one day, she seemed to regain her cheerful demeanor. She asked if she could go out with some colleagues from the office, assuring me of her loyalty. I expressed my love for her and reluctantly agreed, but I couldn't shake off my suspicions. I discreetly followed her to a Holiday Inn where they planned to meet. In the noisy lounge, I watched as Sheila and her friends interacted with various men. Sheila seemed particularly drawn to one individual. Eventually, she left with him, and I discreetly followed, noting their room number. After waiting for Sheila to return, I confronted the man she had left with. His dismissive attitude angered me, and in a fit of rage, I incapacitated him and staged his death to appear as a robbery. Back home, Sheila returned, oblivious to the events. We shared a passionate moment, but the satisfaction was tainted by my knowledge of her infidelity. Days later, I stumbled upon an article detailing a robbery and murder at the same hotel. Sheila's unease at the mention of a name linked to a rival company raised my suspicions further. Despite her reassurances, doubts lingered in my mind about what truly happened that night. Yeah, I was wondering if any of the other girls might recognize the name. Well, honey, at least you're safe. Maybe we can go out for dinner tonight. It looked like Sheila was back on the straight and narrow. We had sex regularly, and it was always good. 6 months passed before Sheila told me a new guy at work was making passes at her. Do you love him, Sheila? What's really going on here? Gary, I know you killed Ray and Philip. I could just feel it inside of me. I married you for the stability and figured I could just get some extra sex on the side. I never considered how much you really loved me. I know you've told me, but I never really believed it. I realized you could have killed me just as easy. I've always loved you, Sheila, and could never hurt you. I know that now, and I've actually fallen in love with you. I don't want to cheat on you anymore. In fact, I want to start a family. I don't know what I can do to make you believe me, but I'm willing to try anything. What is this new guy's name? Raymond Warren. He's married with 2 kids. I just want him to leave me alone. I really want to be true to you. Please believe me. I went and talked to Ray the next day. He was over 6 feet tall and heavily built. I could see how he could easily overpower Sheila. I asked him to show me a house that he was selling. We went inside and I had my talk with him. Ray, I need you to stop messing with my wife. She told me that you won't leave her alone. I won't ask you a second time. I will kill you if I have to, and your family will be without a father. Gary, did Sheila put you up to this? I didn't put the moves on her. She came up to me and offered me sex. I turned her down. I told her I was married and had 2 children I love. I think she believes that since I'm a big guy that I could probably take you down. I want nothing to do with her. When I got home, Sheila looked surprised to see me. Did you talk to Ray? Yes, I did, and I believe everything he said. I believe you went after him and he rejected you. I promised you that I would never hurt you. Sheila, I loved you with all my heart, and all you've done was mess it up. We're through. You have until tomorrow to get the hell out of my house. There will be no alimony whatsoever. I'll get a lawyer and take you to court. I should get half of all your property and money, she said, glaring at me. You will get one thing if you ask for anything, and that's dead. You can have your divorce, but don't ask for anything else. That was 3 months ago, and I am a free man again. I really loved Sheila and thought we had something good. I thought I knew her and that we would be together forever. I don't know how I missed the signs telling me what she was really like. Maybe someday I'll find someone who wants me for who I am. I'm an excellent accountant, and I do come across a lot of women. Plus, because of Sheila, I'm pretty good at making love now. But I'll be extra cautious before getting involved with anyone else. I don't want to make another mistake like I did with her. Let's take a little break. If you like stories like this, then subscribe to my channel. Continuing the story. Story 2. My wife, Alana, and I were having dinner at an upscale restaurant when I noticed my longtime friend Terrence Landis heading toward our table. I leaned in to whisper to Alana, giving her a heads up about Terrence's reputation as a ladies' man. Terrence Landis is coming over. You remember he's been my best friend since 2nd grade? Just be careful, he's quite the womanizer, I warned Alana. Well, fortunately, I'm not exactly his type, so I think I'll be fine, Alana replied softly. Isn't he the one who's quite wealthy? I nodded as I stood to greet Terrence, but before I could, he enveloped me in a bear hug, drawing some attention in the crowded restaurant. Tim. Great to see you, buddy, Terrence greeted me warmly, his eyes subtly scanning over Alana's figure. And this must be the lovely Alana. Heard a lot about you. I sent you guys a gift when you got married, hope you liked it. You're the one who got Tim that pickup truck, right? Alana exclaimed, rising to hug Terrence warmly. Yeah, that's me, Terrence confirmed, shifting his focus back to Alana. Pleasure to finally meet you, Alana. Tim's told me all about you. As Terrence and Alana exchanged pleasantries, I couldn't help but notice his attempts to impress her with his wealth and charm. Alana, being quite materialistic, seemed to be lapping it up. Meanwhile, I felt sidelined on our anniversary dinner, with other diners giving sympathetic glances my way. Well, looks like our food's coming, I suggested, hoping to refocus our attention on each other. Alana agreed, but instead of returning to our seats, she invited Terrence to join us, insisting that my best friend should also be her friend. I hate to interrupt your romantic dinner, Terrence began, but before he could finish, Alana interjected, inviting him to join us. Nonsense, Alana said, signaling the waiter to set another place. Terrence, you must join us. We have plenty of room. In no time, Terrence was seated at our table, engaging Alana in lively conversation while I occupied myself with my phone. It wasn't until Alana mentioned my name that I tuned back in. Tim, we have 2 spare rooms. Why don't we have Terrence stay with us? You 2 guys could catch up, Alana suggested, surprising me with her offer. I was taken aback by Alana's invitation, especially considering Terrence's reputation as a ladies' man. I knew Alana had a penchant for extravagant gestures, and inviting Terrence to stay seemed like one of them. After my first wife, Helen, passed away, I never imagined I'd meet someone like Alana. Despite our age difference, we hit it off and got married. Alana had been through a divorce before, claiming infidelity on her ex-husband's part. I vowed never to cheat on her, and she knew it. Alana's persuasion for Terrence to stay with us seemed effortless, though I couldn't help but notice her subtle attempts to charm him, highlighted by her ample cleavage. It was evident that Terrence was thoroughly enjoying her company. The next evening, when I returned home, Alana and Terrence seemed even cozier than before. Dinner was exceptional, but the restaurant containers in the trash suggested otherwise. I felt a pang of discomfort seeing them so engrossed in each other's company. By Wednesday evening, I found Alana and Terrence waiting for me, and Alana wasted no time in initiating a serious conversation. Once again, I found myself blindsided, only this time it was just Wednesday. How had Terrence managed to work his charm so swiftly? His knack for achieving his goals was impressive, but I knew it wouldn't come without a hefty price tag. Terrence and I have realized that we're meant to be together, Alana confessed. It wasn't intentional, but the attraction between us is undeniable. I understand if you're upset, Tim, but please, don't try to talk me out of it. I won't let you take half of everything just because you and this guy couldn't keep it in your pants, I retorted, my anger bubbling to the surface. You're so predictable, Alana scoffed. I don't want your money, Tim. I just want a quick divorce so I can move on with Terrence. Fine, where do I sign? I replied, resigned to the inevitable. I'll be staying with Terrence while we wait for his condo to be ready, Alana stated firmly, expecting my compliance. I simply nodded and left for the nearest bar, needing some time to process the situation. Divorce proceedings flew by with surprising speed, thanks to our mutual agreement and Alana's financial independence. Within months, I was officially single again. The weekend following my divorce, I found myself back at the same restaurant where Alana and I had met Terrence. I joined him at his table, curious about his apparent contentment. Do you want to thank me here or wait for privacy? Terrence joked, his grin unwavering. I can't believe you're so calm about this. You're the one she left her marriage for, I remarked bitterly. She won't come after me, Terrence replied confidently. You're missing the bigger picture. Enlighten me then, I challenged. Think about why you wanted a divorce in the first place, Terrence urged. What was the final straw for you? It was finding out about her affair with her personal trainer, I admitted. But she had me trapped. If I divorced her, she would have taken half of everything. And that's why you called me, Terrence concluded with a knowing smile. I never expected her to be asking for a divorce by Wednesday. Your persuasion skills have definitely improved over the years, I remarked. It's not just about my persuasion skills, it's also about how my financial portfolio has grown. Once she saw my wealth, she was all over me. I'll admit, I'll miss her in bed. She was quite a talent, Terrence confessed with a grin. It's her talent that got me into this mess in the first place, I replied solemnly. You did a great job helping me escape from that gold digger, but aren't you worried about how she'll react to being dumped? She might catch on to our plan. She may be promiscuous, but she's not stupid. Remember when I mentioned the big picture? Terrence reminded me. As an engagement gift, I treated Alana to a weekend at the Ritz with a spa day. You idiot, I retorted. Didn't I tell you her personal trainer, turned masseur, works there? She could have run into him. Surprisingly, I knew about that and even requested him by name when arranging the spa date, Terrence revealed. Last night, I decided to pay her a surprise visit to see how much she enjoyed her gift. Since I had booked the room, I had a key. Fortunately, I also had my phone set to record. And unsurprisingly, I found her thoroughly enjoying her gift, with him. She was with him? And you have it on video? She was cheating on you? I asked, trying to process the information. Indeed, she was devastated when I confronted her. It was the first time she had ever strayed, and she promised it wouldn't happen again. I agreed with her on that. It certainly won't be happening to me. Right now, she's out apartment hunting, and between her bouts of crying and cursing, Terrence explained with a smirk. You deserve a dinner for orchestrating her request for divorce by Wednesday, I conceded, grateful for his assistance. You've always had my back. Alana may not understand relationships, but you do. That's true friendship. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel not to miss new videos.